knew I had to leave him. I knew I wouldn't survive it if I didn't. So I made the decision to file for divorce.
Amber Heard claiming she filed for divorce from Johnny Depp because he had been violent during their marriage. Or was he?
Mr. Depp is your victim, isn't he?
No, ma'am.
Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, flipping the script on cross-examination.
I pledged the entirety of the settlement, $7 million to charity, and I intend to fulfill those obligations.
Ms. Heard, that's not my question.
I'm Angenette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar podcast, where we take a deep dive into the testimony in the defamation trial of Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard. Amber Heard's second day on the stand began with her recalling instances in which she claims Johnny Depp physically and sexually assaulted her during their marriage. Depp denies those claims. Heard had initially testified the violence started in 2013, but on Monday, she said it was actually 2012. That was the time Heard said Depp hit her in the face when she made a remark about one of his tattoos. She said she reviewed text messages and diaries to refresh her memory.
How is it that you didn't just remember all of those events like this?
That's not how your memory or my memory works.
Then Heard denied telling her private nurse, Erin Borum-Filati, that she had been addicted to both liquor and cocaine, and that she had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and eating disorders.
When did you provide a client history to Erin Filati?
Never.
When did you first get assigned Erin Filati?
I believe September of 2014.
Okay. Now it says here that client reports a history of substance abuse, including an addiction to cocaine and liquor. When did you have a history of substance abuse, including addiction to cocaine and liquor?
I did not. There's a lot of mistakes in here.
Okay.
So Heard is basically suggesting that Filati, who was hired to provide medical care for her, basically wrote things in her patient notes that weren't true. Heard then tried to explain an audio recording where she admitted hitting Depp.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
Even a lot of fights have been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you have a closed fist.
You get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not deck you. I was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what
you.
the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's the difference
you
between
poor
me and
toes.
you. You're a baby.
Because you start
You
physical
are
fights?
such a baby.
Because
Grow
you-
the up,
Because you start
Johnny.
physical fights?
Amber, please explain to the jury what's transpiring in that audio recording, what that's about.
Well, there's two different situations that we're referencing in this fight. Two different altercations between Johnny and I involving the door. The first of which we first start talking about, where I'm talking about hitting him, I am talking about what that conversation is about the disparity, the disparity between Johnny and I in our physical fights, the disparity of how he would proactively punch me and I would have to resort to reactively hitting him.
We've told you about the defecation in the bed. Johnny Depp said his housekeeper found feces on his side of the bed at the penthouse the morning after Heard's 30th birthday party in 2016. Well, Heard blames the poo on Johnny Depp's dog, Boo.
What, if any, issues did Boo have with bathroom problems, if you will?
Objection, leading, and relevance.
Overruled all that. She had eaten Johnny's weed when she was a puppy and had bowel control issues for her entire life, among some other issues. She was, we regularly had to take her to the vet to try to figure out, well, what was wrong with this dog? Never met a dog that was quite like this. So she had some control issues. hence why she liked to burrow in the bed. She liked to be in the, by the foot of the bed underneath the covers. And it was customary that they slept in bed with us, but Boo, having the issues she had, we have to leave her in bed so that she wouldn't be encouraged to go to the bathroom, which would happen almost immediately once you put her down on the floor.
Now remember, Starling Jenkins, one of Depp's bodyguards, said that Heard called the feces a practical joke gone bad.
Why would that not be something you would do?
First of all, I don't think that's funny. I don't know what a grown woman does. I was not also in a pranking mood. My life was falling apart. I was at a crossroads in my life that was really serious, and I had just been attacked on my 30th birthday by my violent husband with whom I was desperately in love and knew I needed to leave. It was not really a jovial time, and I don't think that's funny, period. That's disgusting.
Heard then testified about that critical date in May of 2016. It was May 21st, a Saturday night. It was the night that Johnny Depp said he went to the penthouse to get his things. He was going on tour with his band in Europe. He said he had already told Heard that he wanted a divorce. Heard said she had called her friend Io Tillett Wright when Depp got there.
Johnny hears this when he's on the stairs. He made it up one flight of stairs. Heard this, turned around, came bolting down the stairs, grabbed the phone from my hand, and really started screaming this time. Lit into Io, called Io every imaginable horrible name that you can say to a LGBTQIA person, for one, and any person, any human being ever. I mean, just screamed at Io. Some really nasty stuff, and when he was done, he says, you want to have my woman now, you want to have my bitch, you take her, you can have her. And he, with that, picks up, just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye. I put my head in my hands and immediately start crying. I said, "You hit me with the phone. Johnny, you hit me."
Heard said Depp then trashed Penthouse 5 carrying a Magnum-sized wine bottle. 2 days later, she filed for divorce. And 4 days after that, she obtained a domestic violence restraining order against Depp, who was in Europe touring with his band. Heard also testified about her counterclaim against Depp. She claims Depp and his lawyer, Adam Waldman, smeared her.
And this is an article that was in the Daily Mail on 8 April 2020. You see that? And then, Michelle, if you can move that to the next page, and perfect. It says, Adam Waldman, Depp's lawyer, said afterwards, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and a shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Is this a true or a false statement?
False.
And why is it false?
Well, you have to use what I've lived through and what I've survived, calling it fake, saying that I'm harming Johnny with this, I'm harming the public with this. This is what I've lived through, and to say that it's a hoax, that these aren't even real things. I mean, after everything I've lived through and survived, and also I hadn't even spoken about the sexual abuse within my marriage.
Heard then told the jury that she could not donate her $7 million divorce settlement from Depp to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles because Depp was suing her. To date, the Children's Hospital hasn't received a dime from Heard. This podcast is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark VPN can get rid of a lot of problems for you with an easy-to-use, one-for-all solution. Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard-to-trace online user and makes the internet a safer and more enjoyable place for you. With the click of a button, you can forget about data mining and intrusive advertisements. Use promo code LAW83 to get 83% off, plus 3 extra months free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Surf with your own set of rules. The link is in the description. Now to the cross-examination that everyone's been waiting for by Camille Vasquez, Depp's lawyer. Commentators have made a lot about Depp's body language and the fact that he doesn't ever look at Amber Heard. Listen to Vasquez.
Mr. Depp hasn't looked at you once this entire trial, has he?
Not that I've noticed, no.
You've looked at him, though, many times, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You know exactly why Mr. Depp won't look back at you, don't you?
I do.
He promised you you would never see his eyes again. Isn't that true?
I don't recall if he said that.
Vasquez then played an audio recording from July 2016 when Depp met Heard in a hotel room in San Francisco at her request. This was after she had obtained that domestic violence restraining order. She asked him, "Is this how you want it to end?"
I don't understand. Is this what you want?
No. Oh, no, a hug will save it all. All this, everything we just been
I
through.
just wanted to touch you.
Really? After all this shit you just said?
I just wanted to give
After
you a
all this
hug.
shit you fucking accused me of? You
Yes,
want to
please,
touch me?
please stop me.
Fucking,
Please stop.
fucking nuts.
Please, I just wanted to hug you to say bye. I wanted to end
Yeah,
that.
we did that last night. It's fine. That was good enough.
No.
No, because I'm nothing to you. And I will always be nothing to you.
Calm. Calm.
What? You're not my shrink.
Your hands are hard. Please just calm my heart.
No. No, you're in a fucking heart. No, we'll never see each other again. You won't don't take my fucking glasses off. You don't like fucking looking at not my fucking eyes? You will not see my eyes again.
That's you and Mr. Depp in that recording.
That is.
And this is from when you and Mr. Depp met in San Francisco in July of 2016, right?
Yes, that's what it sounds like. That was in the hotel. We met once after that as well.
This is after you publicly accused him of domestic abuse.
Yes, and got my TRO.
And he tells you you will not see my eyes again, doesn't he?
Yes, he does in that recording.
And he kept that promise, hasn't he?
As far as I know, he cannot look at me.
He won't look at you, right, Miss Heard?
He can't.
Vasquez then questioned Heard about the recording where she told Depp to tell the world he was a victim of domestic violence.
See what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence. And
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
That's your voice on that recording, right?
Yes, it is.
And you were speaking with Mr. Depp?
Yes.
And you said to Mr. Depp, quote, you can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and the judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, a victim too of domestic violence, end quote. That's what you said, right?
I was saying it to the man who beat me up, yes. I thought it was preposterous.
And the man you beat up numerous times. Right, Miss Heard?
I could never hurt Johnny.
You're here in this courtroom because Mr. Depp finally told the world that he is a victim of domestic violence.
I know that he is suing me and has sued other people or corporations that have said that as well.
Vasquez also questioned Heard about photos she took of herself after she claimed Depp hit her countless times with his hand. You know, the hand with the big chunky rings.
Your nose doesn't appear to be injured in any of these pictures, does it, Miss Heard?
I'm wearing makeup.
Your nose doesn't appear to be injured in any of these pictures, does it, Miss Heard?
That's why I'm wearing makeup.
Right. And makeup covers up swelling, right?
Makeup will not cover up swelling. Ice will, though.
Ice will cover up swelling?
Ice reduces swelling. Normally, the swelling after that kind of injury is not as bad as you might imagine. And for me, it wasn't that bad. I have a picture of it underneath the makeup. That's how I know how to reference it.
A picture you haven't produced or shown to
did.
this jury, right, Ms. Heard?
I produced everything.
But you haven't shown it to this jury.
I would very much like to. It's not my job.
It appears Amber Heard might have been throwing a little bit of shade at her attorneys, suggesting photos existed that were not shown to the jury. Vasquez then questioned Heard about her claim that she donated the divorce settlement, all $7 million, to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. This is a clip from a European TV show in October 2018, before the op-ed was written.
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
ACLU organization.
Sorry, ACLU is a prominent organization, nonprofit organization in the United States. Yeah. It's called the American Civil Liberties Union, and they work on behalf of marginalized communities on the ground and in legislative reform.
Right.
And
Never heard
I wanted
of,
nothing.
Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million, donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another.
But I don't. Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
That's how donations are paid.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. As of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the ACLU. Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
So as of today, you have not donated, paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
And that's because you did want something, didn't you?
I didn't want anything, and I didn't get anything.
You wanted Mr. Depp's money.
Didn't get it, wasn't interested in it.
Heard claims she didn't want any of the money for herself. The cross ended for the day with Heard admitting that Elon Musk gave $500,000 to the ACLU to be credited to the amount she said she would donate, but Heard said it wasn't supposed to go toward her pledge. Remember, Terrence Doherty of the ACLU said that Heard never signed that pledge form. And interestingly enough, Heard testified that she met Musk at the Met Gala in 2016. But remember Alejandro Romero, who worked at the front desk at the ECB? He filed a witness statement in the UK libel case in which he said Elon Musk actually started visiting Heard at the ECB beginning in March 2015 when Heard was married to Depp, and that Heard had given Musk a key fob to access the garage and penthouse. Cross-examination will continue Tuesday. That's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. I'm Angenette Levy, and thanks so much for joining us. You can catch our podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time.